Hello, just a quick tutorial on removing backgrounds or removing the subject from the background. So like someone, if you have an image that has a lot of hair flyouts, this is an easy way uh, to separate the background and the person. Okay, so if you have this image or you have an image similar to this with a lot of hair flyout, just open it in Photoshop. There's a few. So first thing is you have to double click here to unlock. So if you see a lock button, you have to unlock that. And for good workflow, I always like to rename this as a base image so I know that that's the base. I would also duplicate that by Command or Control J, right? Or you can just drag this in the plus sign to duplicate. So I'm going to hide the original base layer. So I'm going to just say original so I can differentiate the two. Then that one's going to be just the base layer that I'm going to work on. Okay, so the first thing is we have to select the subject. So there's a few ways to achieve this. So you can either go onto your tool here and object selection. And then once you have object selection, you just kind of scroll over the object that you want to select like this. Okay, and then so it's nicely selected. Okay, so if you don't want to do that or you don't have that, you could easily go up to select on your menu and then subject. Okay, so again, select subject, and that will select the subject for you. So either way is the same thing. So whichever way you want to do. Okay, so next thing is you would have this option menu up here, and I'm going to select and mask. So that's one way, or you can go back up to select and mask. It's the same thing. So whichever one you want. So this menu panel would open up. So first thing is if I want to make sure it's overlay. So I'm viewing and I want real-time refinement. So as I am refining it, I can see it live. So the color, I always want to pick something really bright so I can see what I'm doing. It's up to you. Opacity is 100. Okay, and then mask areas. Okay, so that way I know the mask area is red. The non-mask area is the one that I'm selecting. Okay, so everything's same. So color where you want to select that if it's not selected already. Keep everything pretty much the same. So once you've done that, up here I'm gonna click refine here. Okay, and then can come over here, decontaminate colors. So that will refine it a little bit more. So it's kind of nicely selected now. Okay, so then I'm going to choose the brush here, refine edge brush, the second one. And then I'm going to slowly click on the flyaways to make sure that those flyaways are selected. So like so. Okay, so you want to make sure your brush shine is 0. So I accidentally deselected that, so I'm going to remove that. There. Go plus. Okay, so that looks good to me, that everything's flyaways seem to be all selected. And then I'm going to click OK. There you go. So you have a nice selection there. You can either change the background color now, right, or keep what the original background color, which is slightly gray like this. Okay, that way you can change the background color without it looking too artificial or without the person looking like they have a helmet. Okay, so the good thing with this here is that you can always go and refine it. So I'm going to double click and then I can continue refining, feathering. Should I want to feather more, I can continue selecting the mask and refining that a little bit more. So it's up to you from here on. Okay, so I think I missed a step, so something to think about is, let's go back here. So when I'm in the selection mode, I want to output as a new layer, or new layer with mask. I hope you can hear me, because suddenly my whole street is under construction, so you can hear all the construction noise. Okay, so either way is good. New layer just means that your whole selection is on a new layer, like what we just did. So let's try that new layer. So you see that it created a new layer. So I separated the background. Okay, so let's go back in again. And I sometimes like to do new layer with mask, because that way if you deselect, if you made a mistake, that layer is still there. So it's really up to you what you want. Just remember, new layer with mask will add some size to your files. Okay, so again, it's up to you, but this way, since it's masked like that, I can easily go to the brush, and remember, white is to reveal and black is to block. So just say if I want to remove some of these flyaway, click on the mask layer, and I am gonna block. So I'm gonna hide that. So I'm gonna go over it. Let's turn on this so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna hide. Okay, so go down here slowly and just erase that a little bit. So again, your brush, you don't want it to be hard, because if my brush hardness is at 100, like I just create, so it's not very nice. So we're gonna undo that. Okay, so again, make sure brushness is 0 or close to 0. That way it feathers out a little bit, and there's a bit of a transition between your edit. And do you see my brush? I'm just doing it on the edge, touching it slowly, so it still doesn't look like she has a helmet, right? That's what you don't want to do, is when you're done editing, the person looks like they're wearing a helmet. Okay, so refine this a little bit with, changing the size of your brush, just making it looks natural. Okay, I'll just stop here, but you can continue refining it. But because we're on a mask, if we made a mistake, we can easily go back and bring back the color. Okay, remember something very important: white is to block, right? Black is to reveal. White is to reveal, black is block. Quite the opposite. Okay, so this is just a quick tutorial on how to do or an easy way to deal with the flyaways or the fly out, or to change a background without it looking too artificial.